Hey guys, a couple of you have been actually asking for an update on what's going on with cars. In short and sweet, I lost the shop and I don't have a place to work anymore. So stay tuned, we'll go over what's going on and what the plans are for this channel.
Just cruising.
This is my parents' old house. This is where I set up shop in that 3-car garage and made videos for the last 10 years. Well, after graduating college, I moved up north, about 2 hours from where my parents lived, and bought my fixer-upper house. The inside of the house was pretty run down. The kitchen was absolutely awful. Some of the cabinets had fallen down, as well as some dog had pissed on the floor, and the piss had been soaked up into the cabinets. So I ended up actually stripping down the entire back half of the first floor, all the way down to the stud, and I ended up finding a lot of issues. So we had to reframe a lot, re-support everything. And then where the old kitchen was, I ended up putting a new laundry room / mud room and a full bathroom. And then where the old dining room was, I stripped it down, got rid of the bay window, raised the window level so that I could put a new kitchen against that, and finally refinished it and put some new cabinets on from Menards. And it's looking pretty spiffy now. So now that this project's come to a close, I want to get back into working on cars and making videos. Now, unfortunately, that family home has been sold, so we don't have a good facility anymore. However, one of the new properties that we purchased does have a good-sized barn on it. So I'm hoping to outfit that to be a workshop. However, right now it's in a pretty bad state. Right now the concrete is all cracked up. The second story has been lowered for whatever reason, and in doing so that causes the main structural beams to be right at waist height, so it makes it a real pain to try to walk upstairs. And then there's no insulation, and lastly the outside of it seems to be falling apart because you can see sunlight coming through the walls. So I have my work cut out for me. If you guys are interested in seeing a video as we begin to rebuild this garage to make it work for us, let me know. I can definitely try to make a video series on that, and that might offset some of the cost of doing this whole renovation. Now, the last part of this video, I did want to go over what cars we still have, what are sold. Starting with the fan favorite, the 1956 Buick Century. Have had the most requests on updates for this car. The plan was to swap the old Fireball engine with a newer truck LS engine. I have a LS swap with a 4L60E kind of mocked up in there. It's just a regular 5.3 liter truck engine. I do plan on completing this one. Don't know the time frame, but you will see videos on this on the channel, so stay tuned for that one. Next on our collection is our Z4s. We have an 03 manual 3.0 liter, an 04 auto 3.0 liter, and an 07 3.0 SI coupe. The 03 finally runs, special thanks to Chaos Calibrations for being able to tune an MS45. I've been struggling to find a tuner that would touch this ECU, as most tuners stateside only dabble with the MS45.1. The silver 04 is highly modified. I've dropped the suspension on H&R coil springs, and I'm running a set of iBox sway bars. The car handles like it's on rails, and after installing the paddle shifters, it's an absolute riot. The 07 coupe is actually currently down. This spring when I went to go ahead and start it up, it just cranked and cranked. Looks like the ECU isn't getting a signal from the crank position sensor. I believe it's some sort of power supply issue. I have a few leads on what may be the culprit, so I think we'll get this thing back on the road pretty quick. The blue Porsche 928 is still around. That's my own personal car. It runs and drives. I actually picked up a parts car with a manual transmission. I'm hoping to maybe throw that into my vehicle, as I think it'd be a lot of fun having a V8 manual transmission Porsche to rip around in. The brown Porsche 928 was someone else's car. I was doing my best to try to get it running and made some great headway, but ultimately I had to give the car back to him just because I ran out of time with all the move and not being able to invest a lot of good time into that car. The Porsche 944 Turbo is still around. This car runs amazing. It just needs a paint job. It's a really good vehicle. Unfortunately, I might part ways with this vehicle so that I can work on new projects. The Boxster that we featured in one video is still around. This car is pretty cool. I'm not a big fan of Boxsters just because the way I sit in them, my head ends up banging up against the roll bar. The future on this one is undecided as well, as we have a big project coming up and we might want to liquidate so we can afford that. The blue Beater 525i is still running strong. We use this as a backup car. Love this thing. It ain't worth much. We're probably going to keep it for a while. The E92 328i was a fantastic car. I actually sold that so I can get an SUV because I need a little more space. I'd love to get back into another E92. I'm really aching for an E92 M3, but those are still a little pricey. I did make some videos on the first generation X3s. We had two, we sold one of them. The other one actually blew a head gasket, so it's sitting around. Probably gonna end up using it as a parts car. I actually moved on to the second gen X3. And this one right here is my daily driver right now. Fantastic car. I have the diesel engine. It gets about 35 miles per gallon, and I couldn't be happier with it. I still have my $500 E30. I absolutely love this car. It's a 1988 325 IS. Currently has electrical issues, but I will eventually get it running again. The next car we have is an E46 325i. I did make a build series initially, just doing a tune-up on this one. Unfortunately, somebody rear-ended it in Milwaukee, and we ended up just parting it out. We've had several Mini Coopers on the channel, however we only have one now. That car I purchased with a blown up engine, and when the engine blew up it actually took out the wiring harness to the power steering rack. I put a new engine in it, but the wiring is still damaged, so we have to fiddle with that some more. That just about wraps up the fleet update. I do however have two vehicles that you guys haven't seen. My 2000 Silverado that I've been using as a beater truck to haul house materials. I'll probably keep this thing around for a while as it is just a great workhorse. And then lastly, our Porsche 912 with a 911 engine. This car is an absolute piece of crap. It is super rusty, super banged up, and it doesn't run. I'd love to feature this car on the channel one day, but it's just a matter of funds. So if you guys want to see that car get fixed and restored to its original condition, please subscribe. That really helps the channel. And with a little bit more YouTube profits, I might just be able to pull that thing off. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate all the support. 3,000 subscribers is amazing. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video.